When you're starting out and you don't have a huge list of contacts and a big network, it can be really difficult to find work, freelance work. And we all need it. It's kind of important. You know, we all need to earn a living. We all need to eat food, and we all need a roof and a bed. So money's kind of important. So where do we find it? That's what we're going to talk about today. Let's get on with it. Hello and welcome back to the Video Editing Podcast with me, Shiny, your host and the founder of Unsplice. The Video Editing Podcast is, of course, your one place to get career guidance and editing tips to help you become a better video editor so that you can work with bigger clients for better money sooner. And that's kind of what we're talking about today. Where do we find those clients when we're just starting out? When we don't quite have a big network. Where are the best places to find work? I've got 8 different routes to share with you, 8 different ways of finding work. Now, if you missed last week's episode, you'll probably know already that if you're watching the video version of the podcast, this is the last time you'll see me against this beautiful blue teal background, because I'm moving home. I am moving back to London after living in Portugal and doing the remote work thing for a few years. My wife has got a fantastic job opportunity there, so we're going back to London, and I'm moving everything with me. So it's pretty hectic at the moment. Now, when this episode is actually released, I am going to be in Greece on my wedding and my honeymoon. So greetings from Greece. And also thank you for all your messages of support and well-wishing. I really appreciate that. So yeah, big time ahead for me. A big move to another country and a wedding. Yeah, hopefully this episode should give you some guidance into where you can find your freelance work. So let's crack on. What is the first route where you can find work? I think it's probably the most obvious one, really, because you should be speaking to your current contacts. Everybody that you've spoken with before, as well, everybody that you've worked with before and spoken with, as well as family and friends. Really, really important. And this should be the very first place that you look. Route number 2, charities. You should be able to find some free opportunities there. If they're unpaid or low paid, what you do have is the contact of someone who knows other charities, and in the future, when they do have a bit of budget, is going to come to you. So you're not being exploited for free work, because you're giving back to the community, you're doing something good for society, and you get to practice. It's a great way to build out your network, and charities often want just short jobs that you can do in a week. Route number 3, Facebook. Facebook groups in particular. You may have friends, of course, that you can message on Facebook, but Facebook groups are a fantastic resource. When I was first starting out, they're rather kind of midway point, because when I was first starting out, Facebook wasn't particularly popular, but midway through that transition, there were a lot of groups popping up with legitimately good opportunities for work, and it's not to be snuffed at. Once you've connected with these people, it's completely possible, even if you didn't make it for this job because you weren't fast enough, then the next job they have, they will reach out to you. If they have your details and you approach them perfectly, then you will be able to secure a little spot in their memory bank and be first and top of mind when the next opportunity comes in. So Facebook groups, not to be sniffed at, they are actually a fantastic resource and are a lot more local as well. Film festivals is the fourth route that you can go down to find freelance work. This is about networking with people. It's about networking hard, building a rapport, building a connection, so that the next time the filmmaker makes something, they come to you. It's a really easy way as well to filter. The film festivals themselves filter everyone. And they come and present to you all the best work that's been submitted. So already half the work is done. In front of you, you have a roster of fantastic filmmakers, directors, producers, production companies that are worth contacting. You can follow the breadcrumbs, find out who's making what, and then contact them to start building rapport. When you contact these people cold, it is about building rapport. It's not about asking for work. So don't jump in there and ask them to marry you. First, you need to get them to warm to you and then ask them on a date. One step at a time. Route number 5 is industry websites. We're talking roundup websites, latest news on certain industries, for example, commercials or music videos or even fashion. These industry websites round up all the best work and present to you the filtered results. Here's who's making what, and you can filter by location, you can filter by commercial, duration, branded content, and find the production companies and the people making the best work. Find the work that you connect with the most and who are creating work that you can provide to. There's no point in reaching out to people who are cutting way above your experience level. You're just wasting your time and their time. So be realistic. Find the people creating this fantastic work and start to reach out, find contacts, and build the necessary contacts and the necessary rapport so that they trust you when the next opportunity comes along. Route number 6, and this is something we spoke about in the last episode, LinkedIn. LinkedIn can be a fantastic resource to find work. You have access to directly message people who are working for these production companies that you so admire. You only have to type in the production company's name and boom, you've got a list of all the people who are worth contacting and building a rapport with. It tells you their name, it tells you their role, and if you have anybody in common, more importantly. And if you have someone in common, boom, you're laughing because now you can get a recommendation. And that is why LinkedIn is actually a fantastic resource for video editors. Now, in the film world, it may not be as good because it's a lot tighter knit community. People, it spread through word of mouth or IMDb. LinkedIn is kind of like the IMDb for production companies working in commercials and music videos. They use it a lot more than they use IMDb, and it's a lot more of an approachable platform. So think about LinkedIn as a strategy to find work as well. Social media is route number 7. Think about all of them. Instagram, TikTok even, and also Reddit. There's some fantastic boards on Reddit where if you're looking for your first job, you can reach out to different people, and there are sometimes people on Reddit asking for video editors. Now, they're just going to be very basic jobs, paying normally a very basic wage, but it's a foot in the door. That's more important than anything else. And the route number 8, job boards. Now, of course, this feels like something that for most people, this is number 1. But this is actually where you'll find the most demanding jobs for the least amount of pay. Job boards are, industry job boards like Craigslist, as well as freelancer platforms. These are kind of where you'll find the toughest jobs with clients who have no connections and who are desperate and just probably are looking for a bargain more than anything else. You can provide, and it can be a fantastic experience if you can find the right jobs. But you'll probably find that most of the jobs on those platforms are not fulfilling and don't really get you very far. But if there is a job that looks like it could work, you could take it. If it does work, then you have a contact now. And that person probably knows someone else that they can introduce you to. So we've spoken about where we can find freelance work, where we can, if we have no contacts, no network, 8 different ways, 8 different routes that you can find people to contact for work. This is cold outreach, where we are reaching out to people who have no idea who we are, but we are trying to create a great first impression. Now, each route has, of course, many different ways of approaching. There's different platforms. If we think about just social media, there are different platforms, different ways of approaching each. So with that in mind, how you reach out to the people on each platform is probably more important. Like all of these things, half of them, if not all of them, you already knew. You know they exist. Maybe you didn't know that you could find work there, but you knew they existed. You've heard of LinkedIn, you've heard of film festivals, you know these are places. But the hardest part is knowing how to approach each of these routes, how to reach out to people who you've never spoken to before, how to bond with them, and how to create a rapport, and how to get work from them. That's the hardest part. That's the hard part. So if that is something that you would like to know more about, then head to the link in the show notes, because you can catch a replay of the Q&A session, the live Q&A session, where you can learn how to reach out to these people in a cold outreach manner. So how do you talk to these people how do you talk to these people and build rapport so that you can get work ultimately? So we talk about some frameworks as well as some acronyms that you can use to remember, so that each message that you send out is built in a way that gets a response so that you can start a conversation. So if you'd like to know how to reach out to these people and what to say, head to the link in the show notes, where you can watch. It's only 30 minutes. You can watch the live replay of the live Q&A. Excuse me. Hit the link in the show notes where you can catch a replay of the live 30-minute Q&A session where we talk about how to find freelance work. So where to find it, we go in. You can learn a bit more about each of the routes, specific information, and you can learn how, more importantly, to reach out to these people so that you can get work. Now, of course, that is all part of the Unsplice Pro membership. So if it does interest you, you get access to Q&A sessions like this every week that are designed to help you propel your career and put it in the fast track so that you can earn more money and work for bigger clients sooner. I hope that's been really useful. You've got 8 routes there now that you know where you can find brand new freelance work if you have no network. It's up to you now to put that into practice and actually do the work. You're listening to this podcast, which means you're not shy of putting in the effort, but can you concentrate that effort in the right direction? Because otherwise you'll end up just coasting and being unhappy that you're not getting the work that you want. So you've been given the where. Now it's up to you to put the work in. All right. Thank you so much. This is it from me from this beautiful teal background. And I have no idea what the next background is going to be, but it's kind of exciting. Thank you for listening very much. Thank you very much for listening. And I look forward to speaking to you soon. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.